Concentrating or ignoring me? Oh, he's concentrating. Good. All right, thank you. All right. Good evening, board members and residents. I'd like to call to order our regular board meeting for Monday, June 9th, 2025. I'd ask that everyone present please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Witt, will you please take the roll call?
Yes, Mr. Backens?
Here.
Mr. Brado? Here. Mrs. Brown?
Here.
Mr. Olgiati?
Here.
Mr. Tominello is asked to be excused. Mr. Witt here. Mr. Verkost?
Here. Thank you, board. Next on our agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, including approval of the regular board meeting minutes from May 27th, 2025, and approval of the bills in the amount of $947,020.79. If there's any changes, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
All right, is there support?
Support.
All right, you got a motion by Mr. Adkins with support by Mr. Brado. Discussion on the motion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, board. Next is approval of the regular agenda. I'm not aware of any changes. If none, I'll be looking for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
All right, is there support?
Support.
All right, we've got a motion by Mr. Olgiati with support by Mrs. Brown. Discussion on the motion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next, announcements. I have a couple. Construction is going well, actually wrapping up at Waterfront Park. We're hoping to open the park Monday, June 16th. We are kind of finalizing some work within the restrooms. We had some items on back order, so that's a tentative, hopeful date. But you can see updates on the township website and social media. The full list of the free concerts in the park has been posted on our website. Concerts are June 26th, July 24th, and August 28th, which will be at Waterfront Park from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. If you have questions, you can call Jessica, 586-466-1497. Our Beautification Commission is hosting the new Hummingbirds and Orioles and How to Attract Them class on July 26th. There's more information about this event and how to register on our township website. A reminder that the summer shuttle is running now and will continue to service our township until the last full weekend in September. For a pickup on Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays, 586-612-4454. Or you can visit the township website for more information. And as always, for information on these as well as all other township events, you can call the supervisor's office 586-466-1445 or visit our website at harrisontownshipmi.gov. Any other announcements? I know we had an event recently.
Yes, the Parks and Rec just hosted the 20th annual fishing derby at Metro Beach, and it was a success. I think we ended up with 95 kids who came and fished.
Wow.
Freedom Boat Club is our main sponsor for that event, and they always go above and beyond. They raised over $1,500 and got some really cool prizes for all of the fishermen and fisherwomen. It was wonderful. The police department came, sheriff's department came, the fire department came. Eagle was there doing some samples of how to fillet fish. Anything else, Brian, you want to add to it?
DNR was there.
DNR?
DNR came as well. No, I think Ms. Brown and Jessica did a fabulous job on this one. It was really coordinated well between themselves and Freedom Boat Club and all the other volunteers. I think Jefferson Auto Repair was there.
Yes. And the beautification committee as well came
Yeah.
to help with the food. like
So it's
always.
just so much easier when people, the more hands, right? So, but it started with Ms. Brown and Jessica coordinating everything, so it was really well ran.
This is your biggest event, right?
So far,
Parks and Rec?
yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
fantastic.
far, David, we shall see what happens in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
Got some concerts coming up.
Yeah, I would say the biggest summer event. I mean, I think
Yeah.
the Santa Claus is, big one too.
yeah.
Yeah.
But awesome. All right, great. Any other announcements? Hearing none, we'll move on to item D1 regarding some legal expenses. Board members, this board approved legal expenses at our January 13th, 2025 meeting, as well as a budget of $10,000 for upcoming legal expenses. So since that time, we've paid a number of invoices, and our most recent invoice that we paid brought down that budget of $10,000 to only $740. These are cases at the Court of Appeals and Michigan Tax Tribunal. The Court of Appeals cases are awaiting oral arguments, which are likely to be scheduled in August or September of this year. You might recall these are regarding the cannabis grow facilities and one of the major cases is the cannabis growing facilities and whether they should be classified commercial, industrial, agricultural. And this is a case that we're sharing with multiple municipalities. And so it kind of reduced our costs because our costs are divided up. Our attorney predicted less than $5,000 in expenses between now and these oral arguments. But there are other cases in MTT, and this is kind of refer to the township attorney. But this, if our township attorney were doing this, this wouldn't necessarily even be covered under their representation, but this is very specialized representation. And the firm Hallahan and Associates we've used for, gosh, as long as I've been supervisor. So I am asking the board to approve a budget of $10,000 for representation for Hallahan and Associates for classifications appeals and MTT representation. I'm hopeful that would take us through the end of this year.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget of $10,000 for representation.
Is there support?
Support.
All right, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Board. Next, D2, regarding Waterfront Park. Board members, Harbor Point condominiums have some silt and debris that is causing shoaling in their marina. Last year, they hired a contractor that used suction to remove the silt material. The silt was stored in porous bags to de-water, it says debater, to water the bags, and those bags were located at Waterfront Park. The park was closed and under construction, so the use of the park didn't really create any hardship, and so there really was kind of an informal process late last year. However, Harbor Point would like to do a similar project this year, but the park will be open for the season soon, and use of the park for dewatering would impact the use of that park. We propose that if the work could happen outside of the prime season, it would have a minimal impact on the use of the park. We talked about, early spring or, late fall, but kind of missing the prime summer time, which is when our residents make use of the park. So after some discussion, we came up with some ideas. Attached in the board packet is an agreement to allow half of the parking lot to be used for the dewatering of these silt bags. That work wouldn't begin until after December 1st of this year. In exchange, Harbor Point condominiums would make a contribution for use of that property and the amount of $2,500. The bags should not have a significant impact on the park based on that time of the year and the volume.
Maybe I misheard you, but I think you said December 1st, but it's September 1st?
It is September. If I said December, I
Okay,
apologize.
maybe I misheard it too.
No, he said December.
Okay, because it was September and it's going to be done by December 1st, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm reading. September is when the work would begin. And again, our use of the park really drops off. I mean, kids are back in school. And, using half of that parking lot is not going to prevent, your typical fisherman and park user for that time of the year. The bags should not have a significant impact on that use, and those proceeds can be used to make enhancements to the park. I recommend the adoption of this agreement, subject to the attorney's review.
I'll make that motion.
All right, is there support?
Support.
Got a motion by Mr. Witt with support by Mrs. Brown to approve the use agreement. So board members, just as recently as, some of you I saw at the ribbon cutting for the mural. We're talking about possibly taking the existing flagpole that's on site, but it's right next to a tree, and as that tree has grown, it kind of interferes. and there's kind of a triangle where the path comes off of the main parking lot, and one section goes toward the ramp, and another section goes toward the pier, and so there's kind of like a triangle of earthen area that we thought would be a good spot for a little bit more majestic flag, kind of closer to the lake, something you could see from the water. We don't necessarily have to compete with New Baltimore, but, you know, these funds could be used to help offset the cost, for example, of that enhancement.
Just a real quick question. Was there consideration to take up the north side on both sides of the road? The only reason I'm asking is for parking for the elderly and that, for these bags, better off on that side.
Yep, so we looked at probably 4 or 5 different locations. We worked with Mr. Gannon, who's here from the Homeowners Association, and his contractor. Initially, we had actually looked at being close to the water, but part of what, you know, the restoration and, you know, we looked at relocating the volleyball courts since they had to be restored.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I think we probably looked at a half a dozen or more scenarios. I know Mr. Witt was involved in that process
Okay.
as well. So this is the least impactful, we believe.
I have a,
Go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
thank you. I have a question as well. With the picture that I'm looking at with the yellow line, how does the sediment get into the bags? Is that coming from, I'm just thinking of where the bathhouse is so are they bringing it around into the parking lot?
Yep.
Nothing else will be going into the grass, into the volleyball courts or anything like that?
Yep,
Okay.
so, good question. So the process is, I mean, imagine just a gigantic, shop vac. And it's mounted on a kind of a structure that can swing in off of the barge. This fella can move back and forth and remove that material. But, you know, another good example would be if you've ever seen like the show Bering Sea Gold, where they have a diver down there and they're just sucking this material up and they run. So in essence, what they would do is have a pump that would push sediment into these bags. The bags sort of inflate and then water weeps out of them. And that parking lot, the center line of the parking lot is the low point. So that dewatering would go into that drain, there's drains underneath that would then flow out to a primary drain that goes out to the lake. So it should be a hose that would be like behind, you know, parallel to the fence and behind the bathhouse.
Okay,
And
it'll fit back there. It doesn't have to go like through the
it
brand new
shouldn't-
stuff?
Yeah, it would be against the fence in the sense that there would never really be a reason for someone to walk across
Okay,
that
okay.
hose. We might end up putting, you know, some sort of caution tape or something around the bags to discourage people from climbing on them. But we have done this before. Harbor Point has done this, so this isn't new to us, but it is a different contractor, and I think it is a different location. But this is what we think is the best. And I would say, just for the reference for the board, we are neighbors to Harbor Point, right? We're next door to them. We have a park, and that park can have an intense use from time to time. So, you know, it's kind of like, this is kind of our way to partner with them, to allow them to improve their property, to maintain that channel and the navigation. And we had a window last year because we were doing construction at the park. We tried to develop something with this that we hope to be able to repeat. In other words, we're trying to get to a point where whether it's this year, whether it's 5 years from now, depending on water levels, if our neighbor needs this, we've got kind of a template that we think is least impactful in terms of disruption to the park. But,
This will be the third time on township property we've stored sediment bags, and it probably won't be the last.
Sure.
This is the one where it would have the greatest impact on the residents.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why, you know, we're talking about it maybe in a little bit different way. And, you know, that was some of my concern, was balancing that public access with the private need for this. And, you know, I totally respect the residents' need to do it. We were trying to like, hey, is there any way we can still squeeze, you know, and I know they bent over backwards to see if they could squeeze it on their own property and that kind of stuff. This just made sense. And we're going to receive a benefit for allowing this to happen.
I think as a board too, we're gonna start seeing this happening more and more lately. It can already, this is like the second or third case that we've had come in front of us for this sediment removal, for as much silt and stuff as in the lake. Unfortunately, I think as a community, we need to partner with our neighbors to make sure that we make it as easy as possible for this type of situation to get taken care of, just because I don't think this is gonna be the last time we have a street or someplace come to us and say, hey, we need your help with this type of situation. So, you wanna be boat town, you wanna have canals, you wanna be on the lake, you're gonna have to deal with this type of stuff.
Right, and this is one of those scenarios where for a relatively small impact to the park at the time of the year that we're talking, makes a big difference, for Harbor Point, so, and we're being compensated. And the only other thing I'll say is this is we've probably gone back and forth on this several times, got to what we thought was the best option, the best balance, but, let's say we do go through this season, we may come out of it and say, hey, maybe next year we want to do the spring, maybe we want to, revise this. We talked about how we could be a lot more, I guess, forgiving if those bags were further north, because the parking lot is used, but the area closest to Jefferson and, closest to the north, there's just not a lot of use there, but that involves pumping that hose across and kind of, now limiting access or, taking a risk that people are having to walk across it. So we'll give this a try. If it works, good. If not, we'll adjust it and be ready for a different approach.
So they're starting after Labor Day?
Correct. Well, after September 1st.
Yeah, September 1st is Labor Day.
Okay, I didn't know exactly
Yep.
this year, but yep.
Okay.
Mr. Supervisor, before it goes to vote, I wanted to disclose that that is the place that I live, it's my residence. I wanna know if it's necessary for me to be recused from vote.
Is there any direct financial benefit to you by the township entering this agreement that's been presented?
No, nothing.
I don't think it's necessary that you recuse yourself. You've disclosed it. If anybody has some questions, now would be the time they can ask you about them.
Yeah, I feel this is something that benefits the township because we are gonna get some compensation and it benefits the condominium association, so.
Yeah, if Mr. Olgiati moved, I still think this is a good idea.
Correct, I think maybe at one of the meetings, the majority discussion that we had with Mr. Gannon, you weren't even really a part of, so. But I think one of the first early meetings we did, so. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, board. Thank you, Mr. Gannon, for your effort on that. Now we've got public comment. We'll open up the floor for public comment. It can be about any subject you wish. We ask that you try to limit that to 5 minutes at least.
C. William Bardell, 28-year resident, clean cut, do-gooder boy next door. Clean up, fix up, people helping people. Just want to remind everyone, please check out Save Lake St. Clair on Facebook. Follow, stay up to date. There's a little bit of reading material for all you. And with that, everyone have a wonderful evening. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no other comment, we'll close the floor for public comment. Any other board comment?
Just a question. If aquatic hydraulic dredging quoted that canal between Lake Shore and,
So this firm did not.
We did not get any bids when we just rebid that project, but I know the homeowners that have been interested in that project are working with this contractor on maybe developing another estimate to go out and get new signatures to continue their project.
good, okay.
Yep.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries, meeting adjourned. Thank you, board.
Thank you.